they want to. Talk don't bother me.
Hey, and welcome to Let Them Talk. I'm Paul DeRienzo.
And I'm Miss Joan Moossy.
And introduce our guest, Joan.
Oh, sure. Well,
'Cause
we're
you have
delighted tonight to have the Director of Medicine of the ASPCA on the night before they kick off their month-long campaign for the April is the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Month, and it's Go Orange for April. So we started early for animals
yep,
in
go
April.
Orange for animals. Of course,
for
you're
April.
both wearing orange, and I'm wearing pink.
That makes you stand out. But thanks for coming. We really appreciate
for having me.
And there's so many issues to talk about. You've also written a book called Vet Confidential.
Yep.
And the foreword is by Dr. Oz from
Dr.
Oprah,
Mehmet Oz.
which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And I looked on the website of the book, and you've got a lot of great reviews, but especially from the consumers, especially the people who buy the book. I mean, people were just raving. And it's basically a book that tells about how to deal with an animal and the veterinary community. And tell us a little bit about.
Well, the purpose of the book is to help pet owners or pet parents. People have different preferences as to what they like to be called. But the purpose is to help pet owners become educated consumers about their pet's health care. Because what I've found over my years in veterinary medicine is that people really now are very knowledgeable about making sure that they and their families are getting good health care. People review different doctors, they look for a good referral, they look online at these different websites that tell you who's the best orthopedist or who's the best surgeon. But people don't know how to go about that for their pets, even though they really want to. I mean, what I found is that all the pet owners I've met over the years are very, very interested in getting the very best health care for their pets, but at the same time, they're not even sure how to start.
Because the love's there, but the knowledge may not be.
Yeah, and sometimes it's very, very scary, especially if a pet becomes sick. You know, so people know that their pet is ill, which is very frightening. Sometimes they know that their pet needs a procedure, whether some type of a surgery, which is obviously can be really scary, or some kind of a diagnostic procedure, but they're not sure what or where or who's the expert that knows how to do that. If someone's having a tough time diagnosing their pet, it becomes very alarming because they're thinking, do I need a second opinion? But who do I get that opinion from? And people just don't have the knowledge. And so I thought, you know, someone needs to tell people how to get the best health care for their pet, how to judge the health care that their pet is getting, how to know when something's going wrong, how to know where to turn when you're in a scary situation. And so I realized that no one was going to step up and do it unless I just went ahead and did it myself.
And it seems to be really appreciated by pet owners. I mean, the comments were so great that it's clear, it's concise, it's very easy to understand and to find the information you need. So
yeah, I have had that feedback, and it's really important to me. Because
you want people to use the book.
And I want them to be able, you know, it's that fine line because I believe in giving pet owners all the information. You know, that's why it's called Vet Confidential, because I'm not holding anything back. I'm telling them the real nitty-gritty, the kind of behind-the-scenes stuff that most people don't know and maybe no one would want to tell you, you know, about the ins and outs and ups and downs of veterinary medicine. But at the same time, I want it to be understandable, so you have to be careful about, you know, too many details that can be a little too scientific.
What are the ups and downs of veterinary medicine?
Right. Well, there's a lot of different areas where pet owners need to be able to carefully judge or to evaluate or to be educated. And one really, really simple example is just when you're looking for a vet. You know, maybe you've gotten a new pet, maybe you've moved, or maybe you want to switch vets, and you think, well, how do I pick a good vet? And right now, what most people do, and surveys have shown this, is they go to whichever vet is closest to where they live. You know, and you would never, ever do that for most things in your life. Even if you were just buying a car, you wouldn't say, okay, I'm going to leave my driveway, I'm going to make a right, and the first car dealership I come to and the first car on the lot, I'm going to just buy it. You would read consumer reports, and you would, you know, read online, and you would research the different cars, and you would, you know, and people care a lot more about their pets than they do about their car, but they just don't know.
Is it possible that some vets might have a less of an emotional attachment to the animals that people bring in and just...
Well, actually, I want people to use more objective parameters.
Okay.
Because that's what a lot of what people do is they pick the closest vet, but they also go by, wow, this vet seems really nice.
Right.
I hear all the time, you know, my vet is so nice, which of course is important. You don't want a vet who's mean. But at the same time, you know, just the same thing as you wouldn't pick a car just by the color, you know, just by the exterior. You want something a lot more solid than just your vet being nice. You want your vet to have the right knowledge base. You want your vet, but there's certain minimums.
Knowledge based. What's that mean?
Knowledge based means you want to make sure that your vet has the proper education, tools, skills, you know, to be able to take good care of your pet. But you also want to make sure that the veterinary practice itself is properly equipped. There's a huge disparity in veterinary practices. There is no one standard. There's no rule book that says veterinary practices have to have this or that or have to do this or that. Only the consumers can protect their pets.
Veterinarians?
So veterinarians are licensed by the state. You know, you have to go to veterinary.
Now, do people specialize, like in dogs or cats or birds?
So this is another interesting sort of mythical area because yes, they're absolutely veterinary specialists, which most people don't know about. And these are in the normal specialties, just like in human medicine, orthopedics, oncology, which of course is cancer, dermatology, which is the skin, dentistry, it goes on, you know, internal medicine.
So the same thing as regular.
The same thing. But at the same time, vets don't specialize in a certain breed of dog or something like that. And so people sometimes say, oh, I'm taking my dog to the bulldog specialist. Well, there's no such thing as a bulldog specialist, and anything more than there's like a doctor who specializes in people with red hair or something like that. You know, so you want to make sure if you're trying to bring your pet to someone that you think is a specialist, that they have the right initials after their name, that they really are a specialist.
I see.
You know, and there's a lot of confusion out there. People don't know that the specialists that do exist, and then they think specialists exist that don't exist.
Now tell us what the Director of Medicine of the ASPCA does. What does that title mean exactly?
Well, technically I'm the Director of Medicine for the ASPCA's Animal Hospital. So that's the Berg Memorial Animal Hospital. And I do a million things. So my job is to oversee the medicine that's practiced there. So I'm overseeing the veterinarians, making sure, you know, once again, that we're following what I think are good standards of care, that we're providing really good care for the patients. But I'm also an internal medicine specialist. That's my specialty, is internal medicine. So I also do things like ultrasounds, which is a sonogram of the animals. I do things like endoscopy, which is where we look at a little camera inside the intestines. You know, so I do internal medicine as well. And then we take care of all different kinds of animals. We take care of people's pets. We take care of animals that have been victims of cruelty. We take care of shelter animals.
Now, of course,
so we do a lot of different stuff.
And the way I met you was through Christine Woodward at the Woodward Gallery down on Eldridge Street. And she had sort of a, what do you call the situation that she had? Across the street from their gallery, there was just an alleyway filled with breeding cats.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you call it overpopulation.
Okay.
You know,
I wasn't sure if there's like a crisis word for it.
Right. You know, like severe
Pocket
overpopulation. Yeah, there's definitely a serious situation down there. And so what people might not realize is that as many pet cats as there are in the United States, it's estimated that there are just as many stray cats that don't have homes.
Equal.
Yeah, I mean, and no one can know for sure because these cats are...
It's impossible to count.
You can't count them. A lot of times you don't even see them. There might even be more than that. I mean, there's just millions upon millions of stray cats.
Right.